welcome to Pick and Mix, the new 1 hour show. If you remember, we said that Pete Cornish might be in, but sadly Pete Cornish will not be in, and that's the way it goes in the music biz. He's not come through, so we'll see if he comes at another time. And on today's or tonight's show, we will be going into topics such as these. Those nuisance phone calls that we seem to always get. Neighbours and what evil waits. Morrisons, where more is less and the shop are losers. And finally, taxi fares, who sets them? And I have as my guest in the studio again, Phil. I would like to do first updates to recent topics that were spoke of in my last couple of shows. Firstly, the observatory, etc., looks to be a waste of time. There's no apparent interest in Chelsea, and David Gate ought to give up on his idea of astronomy and go looking for some like-minded people and save your money, Dave, and do something else. As for tribute bands, oh, by God, did we get some reaction on that? Who needs them? Certainly not Smuggler's Day or me. I've no Chelsea act on the main stage at all. That is a tribute band. Yeah, there's John Graham, son of Hugh Graham, and his tribute band. And Hugh Graham used to be once of this radio station, but he's not anymore. And John Graham has not even come forward to help out Chelsea, and he's got one of these tribute bands that could have done something, so that shows how much he cares for Chelsea. Having said that, I must say, I tell you listeners, that actually I've got to admit something, that I'm not just Chelsea Internet Radio. I'm also with South Waves, which is across the way of Littlehampton and towards Brighton. So this show actually goes a long way beyond Chelsea. So there you are. And the last two shows have been doing that. Right, we're going to start on the phone call pest that seems to be happening ever more, even to me as well. And these are cold calls from India, Pakistan and the UK. Are they harassment or just a nuisance? They come on pretending to do a survey, asking about life insurance, wanting to know if your investments are paying enough, trying to get data from you, and this they do in many ways, using a local number area code to mask the fact that the call is coming from abroad or even London. They always disclaim wanting to sell you something. They're actually trying to sell you a service. They lie about data, often beginning the call by saying you asked them to call back regarding a lapse or a new policy, which of course is rubbish. And what is being done about this horror? Now, Phil. Hello, Phil.
Hello, Dennis.
Right, jolly good. What do you think about this? Can we get your views on it here?
Well, I've got to say that nuisance calls are something that is an absolute dread to myself. And my late mother was absolutely plagued by them to the point where she actually phoned me up and asked me if there was anything I could do about it. We contacted BT, and BT actually told us that there was a machine on the market that they could supply called a call blocker. And what effectively the call blocker does, it relies on a human at the other end of the phone to be able to get by it. Because what these companies do, they're all these phone numbers are just randomly phoned by a computer, and as soon as you pick up your phone, it knows it's live, and then an operator will have a light or something come up on their switchboard, and they start to talk to you.
So that's done.
They're not actually phoning you. So what call blocker does? Call blocker says, to continue, if you're friends or family, press 5 to continue your call. But of course, the computer can't do that. So it gives it 5 seconds, and if you haven't pressed 5, it hangs up on you. So we had one of these installed, and believe me, it did the trick. She never had another nuisance phone call. And it was about £150, something like that at the time. So it was well worth installing. And as I say, it was maintained by BT, so you can do something about stopping it.
I mean, where do you think they get all these numbers from? Do you think they get them from councils or what?
Well, they're bought, aren't they? People sell them. They gather your information is at the bank or anywhere like that, and they actually sell databases.
I mean, I actually had a guy who phoned me and said to me, a complete lie, of course, Phil. Once you've talked to me, you won't get any more calls.
He's probably just sold your number to somebody else for a tenner.
And 3 days later,
yeah, exactly.
They came in at 3 a day.
Yeah, exactly. This is what they do. This is how they make the money. They just build a database, and once they've got a few thousand or whatever, they just will sell that database onto the next company and the next company.
Yeah, but the thing I can't get around is that Call Me Dave.
Call Me Dave.
He's always saying that he's going to put a sort of stop to these sort of things.
I've got to laugh when he asked you to call him Dave. Was he talking like that when he asked you to call him Dave?
Yes, exactly, yes. I mean, is he lying to us, Phil? Is he actually lying? I mean, he's got our vote. Well, not mine.
Well, there you go, Dennis. What can you do? I mean, it's out there. It's happening all the time. The only thing you can do is put stuff in place to stop it.
Do you think, though, having said that, do you think BT really have got some responsibility here?
Well,
I mean, they are BT lines, aren't they?
The thing is, what can BT do about it at the end of the day? I mean, they supply you your phone line, they supply you your number. If you go X-Directory, you can go X-Directory, but you're never going to stop a computer from dialing random numbers. It purely is a computer program that dials random numbers. It doesn't matter whether you're on all the sort of restricted call blocks and and everything else. And
but have you noticed
X-Directory, and it will just keep dialing, and eventually it gets a live number.
Yeah, but have you noticed, Phil, sort of like they ring in, and they say something like, "You've taken out a policy with us," and they've got no such information that you took a policy out with them.
The best one I like is, you had an accident a while ago. We're ringing about your accident. Well, when did we have an accident? 10 years ago? 15 years ago? Did you ever have an accident? But they seem to think you did.
Well, I can see what you mean, but I had one. It came in, and it said, "We know you. We've looked at your recent insurance cover."
Oh, really?
And I said, "Yeah. Who are they?" Well, I said, "Who are they?" Nothing.
Well, of course not.
I said, "You actually don't know who my insurance are." "Well, we've got it somewhere on this system," and this was from London. This wasn't sort of Pakistan or India,
right?
And I said, "Look, this is one big porkies. You have no idea when my insurance lapsed, who I've taken it out with." And then he went, click.
Yeah, it's true. But you see, again, things like that are sold on a database. There'll be a database of when your insurance policies actually do lapse, and it'll be sold on to several companies, and they'll phone you probably a week or two before it's due and say, "I believe your policy's due," and that's how they get your number.
It is bloody nuisance, isn't it? They
Yeah,
are
it's-
nuisance calls. I mean, is it harassment or is it just merely something like nuisance? I mean, I get about 5 a day, Phil.
Yeah, sure.
5.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's big business for them. It is big business because for every one that they're going to get like us that say, "Go away, leave me alone,"
Yeah.
they're going to get the vulnerable one that says, "Yes, okay." So it is big business.
Yeah,
It's a problem. It's a problem.
I think there must be thousands, or if not millions, of households who are getting these.
Exactly. Every day.
I mean, the only person I actually discussed it said they had one a week. I thought, bloody hell, I've got your others.
I think I've got the rest of them.
Yeah, I really thought I've got your others. But they said one a week, and I would love one a week.
It's
no.
the times they phone, isn't it, Des? It's like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yes.
That's the worst thing about it, especially if it's elderly and, and let's be honest, we all think if the phone rings at 10 o'clock at night, we all think something's wrong, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
We instantly think,
And have you noticed that another thing they do is they call you by their first name?
Yep.
And you think it is someone you knew. And then you realise, once you've stepped over that, you just realise this person is no one you knew.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so. Right then, let's go on to some music. And this is Turnpike. Yes, I was with Turnpike. Yes, I can tell you all who was in it. And off we go now.
It doesn't matter what you do, but you gotta do something. It doesn't matter what you try, but you got to try hard. No one really cares if you cry, but you gotta show feelings. It doesn't matter what you want, but you got to make a start. Doesn't matter what you want, but you gotta want something. It doesn't matter where you look, but you mustn't look down. No one really cares where you be, but you gotta believe now. East or west, we're all in the middle, just take a look around. You got to believe in something, you got to have some fun. You got to believe in something, you got to love someone. Give it up, don't give it up. Give it up. It doesn't matter what you want, but you gotta want something. It doesn't matter what you say, but you got to be heard. No one else can make you see that you're someone special. It doesn't matter what you teach, just as long as someone learns. You got to believe in something. You got to have some fun. You got to believe in something. You got to love someone. Give it up. Don't give it up. Give it up.
And yes, that was Turnpike, who've been on before, and the lineup is Davy Johnson on guitar, Paul Westlake on guitar and vocals, Dennis Cowan on bass, Mick Weaver on keyboards, Cozy Powell on drums, and the female voice was Morgan Le Fay on additional vocals. Yes, we've got another track from them later, so back to the discussion. Well, we're going to move on to one of Phil's favourite subjects. Hello, Phil.
Hello, Dennis.
And this is called Neighbours, Good, Bad and Cliques. I hope some of you listening know what cliques are. Well, I will tell you. The clans and cliques, territorial and selective, mostly a middle-class thing. Oh, God, middle class. Where pretentious and posers get together by reasons of being similar, keep out unwanted or challenging people who move in and disrupt their planned-out existence, which means they don't want anybody getting in the way of what they want to do. And then there's the neighbourly smile, that is yet another masquerade, as it often hides the real thoughts going on, especially to new arrivals, who they'd rather not have. After all, some new arrivals could upset their rule and how they live. Some neighbours set about finding out by pretence and false friendship, gathering info so that they can plan their attack or approval. Oh, yes, this is the stuff of intrigue, is this? What are the signs of a false neighbourly situation? Well, here we go. One most common is that the neighbour never invites you in and has dodged all the invites you tendered to them, giving all sorts of excuses. The gap between you and them is always maintained, and it's likely to go on so for years. Are good neighbours easily found? Not really. Despite most of us hoping that that will be the situation, it only takes one false move, one dispute for the reality to finally arrive. Deceit is always around the corner. What friendship you thought was there was shallow and paper-thin. You might do something the other neighbour does not like, or the previous neighbour didn't do, and that can upset the apple cart. Oh dear. Well, this is the way it goes. I have trouble with neighbours. I don't know about Phil yet, but we'll be going on to him because he's an avid listener of this programme. And, well, he is, on his days off. We have on this one side of me the Tart of Selsey with their posy ex-hubby and the old vixen on the other side who thinks she's more than she is. A neighbour took my big wheelie bin and put a smaller one in place. Actually, theft, really. Do neighbours poison your plants? Yes, indeed they do, but they do it in such a way that you can't find out and you can't prove it. And I'm living near one of them anyway. Do neighbours acquiesce property by deceit? Yes, they do. One neighbour used my land and did not say anything about it until I queried it. Oh, and I did cause an upset. Do neighbours try to run someone out who they do not like? Yes, my neighbour actually boasted about running a woman out of this little area because she liked furry things all over a lawn. And he seemed quite pleased to have actually got her to go. This is what they're like. This is what neighbours are like. Now, Phil, you are going to come in and tell me all about the neighbours that are wonderful. I know you are. Hello, Phil.
Hello, Dennis. I've got to say, sorry, you live in a bad area.
Well, I do, don't I? And this, I'm in Selsey as well, Phil. Would you believe that?
Oh, no, I'm not saying Selsey's a bad area, but I'm saying you live in a bad area.
Phil, it doesn't happen at the Mews in London where I am.
No.
I've got some beautiful people there.
I'm sure. Well, I've got to say, I've got no complaints. I've absolutely no complaints where my neighbours are concerned.
Yeah, but don't you think it's a bit bad, sort of like one guy that lives near to you actually boasts of taking out a woman he didn't like?
Well, I don't think that's a very wise thing to say, is it? In a small community, to be honest with you.
Well, I thought I actually, when he actually said it, he seemed to want praise. Do you know what I mean? Mm. And I found myself actually disliking him. I thought, how can you take on a poor woman and make sure she doesn't live here? And he virtually laid it out how he went into attack mode to get rid of her.
I'm not sure if that's that's some sort of criminal offence or something.
Well, no, you see, he's a creep.
Oh dear.
He's a creep, Phil.
You said that, I didn't.
I said that, Phil. It's my radio show, and I said it.
Absolutely. Dear, oh dear. Dennis. I just what are wrong with people? Why can't people live and let live?
I think one of the things I've found out is they like to kind of organise you. They do not like anyone they can't fathom.
Right.
I think they before a new person arrives in, I think they like to know enough so that they can manipulate them into a situation. And if you're not like-minded on their level, I think they tend to sort of then build up a kind of barrage.
Well, it's. I think the old expression is it takes two to tango, doesn't it, at the end of the day? I mean, you've got to make effort yourself, haven't you? If you move into a new area, you've got to make an effort to make friends with the neighbours that are already there. So
yeah, but one of the people we have on our normal week-to-week programme, Giles, the gardener.
Yeah.
He came up with a similar thing about how he was having a huge thing with a neighbour. And it was getting, Giles is pretty old. Sorry, Giles, if you're listening. But I know Giles, you see, he comes from Ireland.
Okay.
And he loves people, he quite likes them. And he got quite upset in the fact that they were sort of pointing across and saying his light from his windows was keeping them up, the people across the road.
Well, I think that's going a bit
Yeah,
far.
and it was silly. And when I was listening to him, I thought, Giles, I know exactly what you mean.
It sounds a bit bizarre, to be honest with you. I'm just so, I suppose, blessed, if you like, that I've never been in that situation.
Well, the thing is that when you come into a new place, you want some good neighbours. You're always on the lookout for some good neighbours who will take care of things for you, who will maybe do vice versa, like if you go around to their place.
Absolutely.
But what do you do when you invite a neighbour and then they make all sorts of excuses never to come round?
Right.
But they never have you round. Mm-hmm. I mean, I go back to a time, we had a gas leak here, and I actually found the gas leak because it was all over my house.
Right. And
I phoned up, and the gas board were absolutely pleased that I'd phoned up. Mm-hmm. And I found out a little bit later that day, the neighbour next door claimed she'd phoned them.
Right.
So I actually checked. And the man at the gas board said, no, yours was the first call of the gas. So
right.
Why say that you've called them?
Well, I don't know, one-upmanship, I don't know.
And the strange thing is, the woman next door, while I was forced out of the house, I had to leave it because it was in such a dangerous thing it could have blown.
Right.
And as I was stood outside, they said to me, have you got any neighbours, that will take you in and... Right. But the neighbour next door actually gave cups of coffee and cups of tea to the brigade, the gas people.
Right.
And stared at me. And left me. So there's great neighbours, aren't there, Phil?
Well, there you go.
So I think that sort of tells you an awful lot, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to go on to some more music again. And off we go with Clarky. Yes, go it, Clarky.
Get me a ticket to heaven. call musicians, people looking up, seeing visions. They say for your dreams to change your living, you can flip a coin, be ready for precision. Cause if it lands a go, you better move. If it doesn't, don't mean you need a crew. If you work hard, then you can play hard. So I'm chasing what I see outside the job. Standing over you and crossing paths. Music biz is bigger than your heart. So love what you hate and hate what you lost. Mind controlling, got the TV buzz. So I keep to myself and write my bars. When you get on stage, just show your scars. So you gotta be precise somewhere you are. You moving closer or moving far. Keep your head straight, raise the bar. Keep on walking up the bars. Yeah, see the mark, change your step. No tripping, go up the step. Pick your path and mark the edge. If you fall out, it's back to the fence. So pick yourself up and walk the fence. It's the tightrope steps, go walk again. My game I'ma stand out. I'm going just what I came. You can pop your pill, but I just pop my game. Getting ready to fly again. No choke keys, I'm rolling man. No choke keys, I'm token man. Open season, tracking hand. Oh my handyman. Sounds some music, copycat. Switch my flow like switch my dance. Doing the tango with the tracks. As if what they call them now. I see the tracks. I throw and excel with the ticket. I hold my game with a mental image. I'm a good doctor, so I mend my fitting. Reverse, so I eye them out. I'm putting my shirt as I let it sold out. In my hand, keep wine as it pours out. When I take the words ahead, you can watch me walk with pride. Walk with dignity. I see my home, so I see my dignity. God knows where I was, so I walk in hell, looking over me, saying nothing. So when the gates open, I'll walk the steps. Lift me up to my next quest. Zone in on my best test. Rap game, no nothing less. The game's here, put it on my chest. Feel my heart to piece out the best. When I walk, I feel the pressure, but I push back to go out to deliver. Let me take it to heaven. Lead me, keep me down, go out and free me. Let me take it to heaven. Lead me, keep me down, go out and free me. Let me take it to heaven. Lead me, keep me down, go out and free me. Let me take it to heaven. Lead me, keep me down, go out and free me.
Yes, as I was telling Phil, I'm the boss, and we won't have any auditions on this show. What we will have, yes, and we're back. If you thought this was insanity, you were right. Is Morrisons up to the job? This is the next topic. Yes, we're talking about Morrisons supermarket. Where has it gone wrong? And have they learnt from their mistakes? Sadly not, and this is all too clear when we see in the news that Morrison's new boss, David Potts, failed in his promises to get the supermarket on track. After publicly saying the supermarket was listening hard to customers, sales fell by 2.9% in 3 months, and before he arrived, sales figures had fallen by 7.1% the previous year. Its history shows us that the former Morrisons chairman, Sir Kenneth Morrison, was fined by the FSA watchdog over his failure to reveal his share dealings, in that he sold shares in the firm and did not inform the market when he reduced his shareholding in the supermarket chain in 2008. He was fined $210,000. A former Morrisons tax advisor and head of tax affairs, Paul Coyle, was jailed for 12 months by Leeds Crown Court over a $79,000 insider dealing fraud. He was found guilty on 2 counts of insider dealing involving shares. He pleaded guilty to both. We come on to safety breaches by Morrisons, which have been repeated and not hindered. And Morrisons of Leeds were fined $12,000 over slippery tiles. In other words, unsafe flooring, and they had been warned about its food preparation areas on more than one occasion. Inspectors told them they considered it would present a significant danger if things were spilt on those floors. Morrisons were yet again fined $80,000 after an employee slipped on a wet floor. Ipswich Borough Council took the supermarket giant to court, and even in this area, this was the second time the store had been prosecuted for failing to adhere to health and safety legislation. They had previously been fined $17,500 in 2011 at the same store when another employee slipped and broke her arm come elbow while preparing meat at a food counter. In a more serious accident due to a safety barrier not being made safe, an employee lost half of his face. The company was fined $172,000 with $16,681 legal costs. Employee Kevin Brookshaw was about to go on his night shift duties at the Dunwoody store. Due to the safety barrier having been left unsecured, it suddenly came crashing down across his car, his windscreen and into his face. Chester Crown Court said if proper care had been observed, this horrific incident would not have happened. We now turn to products, some made on the firm's premises. When is a cheese onion pie a meat pie? Phil, how about that? Well, one Cardiff-based store customer took advantage of a special offer on cheese and onion pies, which turned out to be meat pies. And 2 of the 3 pies, later inspected, had the wrong ingredients. Mr. Khan, who purchased the products, slammed Morrisons and the ignorance of the staff for putting on the wrong labelling. In another similar incident, Northampton magistrates fined Morrisons $18,000 over a vegetarian product containing meat. They were found guilty of contravening the Food Safety Act, and I think he's just had a pie, as Phil. They contravened the Food Safety Act of 1990 and were ordered to pay $1,981 court costs. They were yet again fined for selling out-of-date goods, and they were fined a total of $6,000. Officers from the Calderdale Council visited the Halifax supermarket after a shopper alerted them to practices at the store. Inspectors found that some items still on the shelves were up to 17 days out of date, Phil. Very bad. Another Morrisons store, are we laying into Morrisons? Another Morrisons store was fined $2,000 for selling cigarettes to an underage boy of 15. I wonder if he was a big boy. I don't know. Reading Trading Standards brought the case to court and gained a conviction against the supermarket. And during the 2-day trial, Phil, 2-day trial, Morrisons actually denied it. They were also required to pay $6,648 in legal costs to Reading Council. Even right now, a Morrisons senior auditor is in court facing data theft and fraud charges arising from his position at Morrisons' central office in Bradford. Andrew Skelton denies, that wonderful word, Phil, denies abusing his position. The case continues. Oh, I sound like a court person, don't I now? Right, the Advertising Standards Watchdog, the ASA, upheld a complaint against Morrisons for misleading deals that are not what they say. We know about them. And they were quoting 3 for £10 on a wine deal. And strangely, customers could not find the wines referred to in the deal, therefore making it near impossible to benefit from the offer. Well, how about that, Phil?
This goes on all the time.
These are great offers, aren't they?
Absolutely.
I mean,
you can find them.
A store, exactly, a store with its kind of reputation. And I was saying to Phil earlier, in my own case, I bought a video, a DVD. It had no DVD in it. They take them out. And there was nobody said a word about it. And when I arrived home, what happened, Phil? No DVD.
Well, there you go.
Isn't that marvellous?
Absolutely.
So what do you think's happening with Morrisons? I mean, they're supposed to be in competition with Tesco's, Lidl's, Aldi's, Sainsbury's.
Well, you say that. I think they're all in competition with each other as regards these special offers. I mean, I can refer to one that it comes to mind. It was only a few weeks ago.
Right, you tell me about your offer.
It was two jars of coffee
Yeah.
you could buy one for £3.49 or two for £7. Special offer. Work it out, Dennis.
Oh, God. How awful.
And that was black and white on the...
Yeah.
We couldn't believe it. You know, it's buy two and you pay 2p more for it.
That's a great offer, isn't it? That is a
Fantastic.
marvellous.
But that's going on all the time because people won't sort of stop and think about what they're buying. Or, for instance, it'll be a lower percentage in there. Let's just say a bottle of wine. It's either 75ml or 250ml or whatever. They put the offers on, but it's on the smaller bottles. And if you actually put the two smaller bottles together, it doesn't add up to the one big bottle, which, you know, it's just a marketing ploy.
They ought to get their act together, didn't they, and stop.
Yeah, for sure.
Stop abusing the customer.
I had to smile because there was something actually on the lovely old Facebook today, in fact, about a lady from Bun Leisure who's got a caravan down here, who went into the co-op, our local co-op, and bought 2 bottles of sparkling water to take home with her. And on the way home, they got thirsty and decided to drink it. And it was 15 days out of date.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, yes, yeah.
Okay, it's water. I give it it's water, you know. There's
But it's
nothing
still
wrong,
15 days out
but
of
it's
date.
still 15 days out of date. You know, it's wonderful.
Pathetic. Right, let's go on to the next piece of music. And this is...
feet in the sand. Time and emotion hold my hand. Plenty of time to have a joke with my friends. Plenty of time to understand. This is how your world wanted to be. Stood up and dancing on its feet. And when this feeling grows, washes the world like falling snow, we'll all be waking up in heaven. I'm walking with the smile of an innocent man, with my feet in the water and my toes in the sand. I'm walking round in heaven. I've got both eyes open and a hand on the pulse of a gentle land. I'm walking round in heaven. heaven. I got both eyes open.
Well, Phil keeps telling me about a light show that's happening behind me, behind this desk and the window facing the Chelsea coast. Yes, the wonderful Chelsea coast. This is not an advert. And Phil keeps telling me there's a light show, don't you, Phil?
I do indeed.
And tell the listeners what's happening.
We're having some lovely fork lightning going over out to sea.
Yeah.
And it's quite spectacular. What can I say? Quite spectacular. And there goes another one.
There goes another one. You're not telling me it's coming any nearer.
No, it's not coming near at the moment. It looks like staying out of sea at the moment.
Good. That makes you feel a lot better, doesn't it, Phil?
It doesn't bother me. I love storms.
He loves storms, Phil. Yes, Phil does. Do you know, working with this man is definitely a problem. I mean, sorry, back to the radio. I mean, we're professional radio people, you know. My listeners out there, do you get the idea I'm bonkers?
Oh, yeah.
No, Phil. No. Stop this, Phil. Right, we move on to a very painful subject. No, it's not drawing pins. It's not glass. It's taxi fares.
Oh, away.
Fire away. Yes, Phil didn't know that was coming. And Phil, now, you can tell me this. How come a trip in the night from Chichester railway station can cost £24 to come to Chelsea?
What sort of time of day are we talking?
We're talking about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Well, to me, 1 o'clock is like... 1 o'clock's when nobody's actually around.
Okay, Dennis. So what you should do if you're at Chichester railway station at 1 o'clock in the morning and you want a taxi back to Chelsea, it's 20 minutes before you arrive at the station. You ring a fabulous taxi company.
Oh, he's starting this advert
A fabulous
job.
taxi company in Chelsea who will
Yeah.
drive up from Chelsea and pick you up, and at that time in the morning will only charge you £18.
We've got a £6 reduction.
That's
there,
quite
folks.
a saving.
Yes, but why do you think then? Why do you think it's £24, sort of at 1 o'clock in the morning, to actually do that trip from Chichester?
To be perfectly honest with you, Dennis, it's not much cheaper during the day when you're using Chichester taxis. At the end of the day, if you're at the station, they've got a monopoly, and especially that time of the morning, as you say, there's not a lot of people around. But 24/7 cars are opened.
Yeah.
You know, and if you pre-book, they'll stay open for you 24 hours a day. And as I said, they will come and pick you up from Chichester for a very, very big reduced price of what they charge from Chichester taxis.
How do they? And I feel, you see, this is the amazing thing. Sort of our listeners are listening. How do they gauge the cost of a fare? I mean,
Well, right, okay, there's two different types of taxi. You've got the private hire taxi,
yeah,
which of course doesn't have a meter.
right,
And you've got your Hackney carriage, which has got a meter. Now, the meters are monitored and they're fixed pricing, and they go to time and a half after midnight.
right,
Okay, so as soon as you step into a taxi with a meter, the charge is on the meters before you even start turning the wheels. They're fixed charges. You know, they don't get to fix those charges. That's fixed by the district council.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So at last, the district council are involved in this.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
The council
Yes.
set the charges.
Yep.
But when you use private hire companies, they are free to sort of charge what they like, if you will. We've got two companies in Chelsea. We've got Area Cars and we've got Memory Cars.
Did you hear
They're both very competitive companies. But always at war with each other for some reason, I'll never know. But you know, they're two really reliable companies. I can't. I'm not going to take sides on either one. I work for one of them.
Phil, we know that, and you never brought a cream cake. There should be some sort of nice little gift for me on this one.
You have a choice of two companies. As simple as that.
Yeah, but I mean, let's get to this other thing, which you've said sometimes, like 200 quid to sort of like an airport from here.
No,
some do, don't they?
Well, I don't know who you're getting to do 200 quid for an airport from here, but no, nothing like that, Dennis.
What would it cost, sort of like, to get from, let's say, Chelsea to Southampton Airport? What would it be?
Chelsea Southampton Airport, you're looking at £50.
Okay, let's say they had to go to Bournemouth. What would we be looking at then?
Bournemouth, I think off the top of my head, you're looking at about £85.
So I wonder where this hundreds odds came
I have
from.
no idea. I know. If you want to go to Gatwick, it's £65, and if you want to go to Heathrow, it's £89.
Have you got your pens ready, folks? Have you got your pens? He's getting this lot in.
Well, we're very competitive, as I said,
yeah.
very competitive out there, and you have to be. And let's face it, with two taxi companies in the village, you both have to be competitive. My only wish was, and if I'm being honest, and I hope that both of the owners of the two companies, even though I work for one of them, listens to this, they should get together and fix their prices.
They should.
Then it doesn't matter who you get in the village. It's a village.
Yeah.
No one's out to do anybody else out of any business. It's just all fix the prices around the village. Then everybody in Selsey knows where they are. Doesn't matter whether you found one or the other.
Yeah, because it must be pretty awful for the sort of the person who wants the taxi.
Absolutely.
Not knowing.
Well, the standard area cars, for instance, charge £3.50 for a local run. Anywhere in the village, it's £3.50 unless you go on to the camp, which is £5. I don't know what memory cars are, but I think they're a little bit more expensive. I think they're about £3.85 or something like that. Please forgive me if I'm wrong on saying that. But if they're just price fixed, it wouldn't matter. And both companies would get so much more business.
There we are, folks. You see, Phil's handled this wonderfully. He thought I was coming at him with a big pitchfork and about to drive him under. Okay, yes. Now we go with Clarkey again with another track.
Reminiscing about the past, seeing the sights and seeing the cars. One by one they walk the path. Is it their plank or is it their mask? I've seen what I've seen and I wish I never did. If I could redo time I'd do it like this. Grab a firm hold and never let go. Cause when someone leaves they change where you go. Like a lonely road with no one to hold. Mates stand by, they go and fold. You grab the mic and you spit the soul. Cause you hope they'll come back on this lonely road. Like a river, it keeps afloat. I state my name because I'm here to flow. So I grab my past and I let it roll. Letting you know what I've seen in my show.
Just be that time, trouble back, time scrap. It's up in the game, it's not the way I never memories knows, memories shouldn't let it go. With the colors ain't the show, it's hanging on just to what, but she is not the black. No turning back, we just let it roll. The high and the low times, but we still ride by in our own time, holding our line with a catch in our mind. When we see what we wanna be, start chasing pavements till 100 miles running is what we be. That day when you took my heart, but you walked to the side and you stole that part. But I'm here in a game with an open cast. The sights that you visit, they revolve like you was on a pivot. Changing as we move, it's a constant decision in a minute. All the times when you did them wrongs, you still kept on learning the songs. Is it a come on, does it carry on? If a film that plays in your brain is something that
coming back, time scratch. That's up the map, see what I missed on the way back. Left no room for brain cells, cause I be ripping those maps. Remember never let us go, with the colors from the back. It's hanging with your sketch, but I'm shaking the throat. No turning back, we just let it roll. Never forget, never forget, listen up, never forget, never forget. You got the world in front of you, better your best. Never forget, never forget, listen up, never forget, never forget. You got the world in front of you, better your best. What I was given, never forgetting what I seen in the cold. The wind blows, but I hold on to my goal. You can plan the future of what is a place. You gotta keep guessing in this ongoing race. What's your next step in your turn in this race? Remember what you know in an unknown place. Piece by piece, doesn't make a puzzle. Connecting the dots, pencil ruffle, sharpening pins or carving trouble. The world revolves around as we walk and stumble. Forgetting our traits, we meet the new. Changing how we act to the different tunes. Remembering the past as we play these flutes. Tapping on those drums as we busting through. If I hit the fade out, I'll be fading out with you. Tune on the brain, got the tune on the tube. Right to the lyrical pit of what I do. Rappers at the top of my game, that's why I cruise.
And that was Clarkey with You Never Will Forget. And the earlier one he did was Ticket to Heaven. And strangely enough, Turnpike, that was Walking Round in Heaven. So there we have it. Well, that's it for tonight's show, and thanks to listening to Pick and Mix, the New Hour show. We shall be back next month with the first of our feature shows in the run-up to Smuggler's Day. Yes, the Smuggler's Day on August the 30th, so it's a little way ahead yet, 3 months. When we have on the main stage Levi, Charlie Dan and Ickes Bell. 2 bands and 1 solo singer with a guitar. But they are good. And next month, to start things off, I shall have Levi in the studio to discuss their music and to play some of their music. So do join me there. And I think you'll find it a very interesting thing. So I'm going to sign off now and leave you till the next month. So, this is Dennis Khan saying good night, and I want to see you and know you there in June. So be back with me in June.